go. Racing hearts, watch them glow. Turn it up, start the show. NFR, feel the heat. Fast and fierce, never beat. Engines roar, can't stay off seats. Catch the thrill, it's so sweet. NFR, NFR. Drama high, stars afar. Round the track like a shooting star. Feel the rush, NFR. Lap by lap, watch them spin. Victory's close, who will win? In our heads, the engine's din. NFR, let's begin. NFR, lights are green. Zooming fast, slick machine. Every twist, every scene. Catch the action on your screen. NFR, yeah. NFR, yeah. Drama high, stars afar. Round the track like a shooting star. Feel the rush, NFR. It's time to go. Feel the speed, let it flow. Racing hearts, watch them glow. Turn it up, start the show. NFR, feel the heat. Fast and fierce, never beat. Engines roar, can't stay off seats. Catch the thrill, it's so sweet. NFR, NFR. Drama high, stars afar. Round the track like a shooting star. Feel the rush, NFR. Lap by lap, watch them spin. Victory's close, who will win? In our heads, the engine's din. NFR, let's begin. NFR, lights are green. Zooming fast, slick machine. Every twist, every scene. Catch the action on your screen. NFR, yeah. NFR, yeah. Drama high, stars afar. Round the track like a shooting star. Feel the rush, NFR. Lap by lap, watch them spin. Victory's close, who will win? In our heads, the engine's din. NFR, let's begin.
Well, Liam Lawson rode into Red Bull's gates. Kiwi kid with dreams so great. 2 races in, he hit the wall. Max Verstappen wrecked him, y'all. He thought he'd shine, but oh sweet son, Max chewed him up like a 2-day run. 2 races and a teardrop, that's all he got. 5 faster than a jackrabbit shot. Max destroyed another teammate. It's plain to see from Ricciardo to Lawson, he's a one-man spree. Daddy Rick tried with his big old grin, but Max spun him out, said I always win. Gasly and Albon, they took their turn. Crashed and burned, oh how they yearned. Perez hung on till his tires were flat. Now Williams gone, imagine that. 2 races and a teardrop, that's all he got. 5 faster than a jackrabbit shot. Max is short another teammate. It's plain to see from Ricciardo to Lawson, he's a one-man spree. Red Bull barn's a lonely place. If you ain't Max, you're out of the race. Liam packed his boots, said I'm done, I reckon. Max just smirked, next victim's beckoning. The pit crew sang, he's too dang fast. Every teammate's a thing of the past. Now Lawson's back with the junior squad, singing why'd I think I'd beat that god. Max's shadow looms so tall and wide. Another teammate's pride just died. From Daniel Pierre out of Checo too. Liam learned what we all knew. 2 races and a teardrop, that's all he got. 5 faster than a jackrabbit shot. Max is short another teammate. It's plain to see from Ricciardo to Lawson, he's a one-man spree. So here's to Liam with a beer at his side. 2 races down and a why'd I try. Max keeps winning that Dutch tornado. Red Bull's second seat, a big oh no. Well, gather round, folks, let me spin you a tale about a race car driver, George Russell by name. He's quick on the track, but don't get too excited, cause when it comes to greatness, well, he's not quite knighted. He's good, but not that great. Oh George, he's got the speed, but not the fake. Oh George, he looks like Woody from Toy Story, that's no lie. And when the race goes wrong, oh how that boy can cry. He's got the helmet, he's got the car, but when it comes to win, he's not quite up to par. He's got the look like Woody with a cowboy hat, but when he's in the pit, you'll see him shed a tear stack. Now don't get me wrong, he's got some skill, but when you're talking about the best, he's not in that middle. He'll race you hard, give you quite the fright, but in the end, he's more known for his tears at night. He's good, but not that great. Oh George, he's got the speed, but not the fate. Oh George, he looks like Woody from Toy Story, that's no lie. And when the race goes wrong, oh how that boy can cry. So here's to George, with his heart on his sleeve. In the world of Formula One, he's got a lot to achieve. He might not be the champ, but he sure is fun. So let's give a cheer for George, our Woody on the run. He's good, but not that great. Oh George, he's got the speed, but not the fate. Oh George, he looks like Woody from Toy Story, that's no lie. And when the race goes wrong, oh how that boy can cry. So here's to George, with his heart on his sleeve. In the world of Formula One, he's got a lot to achieve. He might not be the champ, but he sure is fun. So let's give a cheer for George, our Woody on the run.
Orlando, mate, you had it rough. Car so slow, it was barely enough. Chugging along at the back of the pack. Fans yelling, mate, where's your pace at? Year after year, you'd smile through the pain, dreaming of glory, but stuck in the slow lane. Lando, what's the deal? Now your car's got wings, it's the real deal. Fast in your mirrors, stealing your vibe. Orlando, you're quick, but you're not alone. Oscar's got the keys to your McLaren throne. Now here comes 2025. McLaren's car is straight up alive. Lando's grinning, he's topping the charts, screaming, this beast's got a million parts. But wait a sec, who's that in the other seat? Some Aussie kid who's bringing the heat. Lando, what's the deal? Now your car's got wings, it's the real deal. Fastest on the grid in 2025. But Oscar's in your mirrors, stealing your vibe. Orlando, you're quick, but you're not alone. Oscar's got the keys to your McLaren throne. Oscar's new, but he's stealing the show. Passing Lando like, mate, let's go. Lando's like, I waited years for this ride. Oscar shrugs, cool story, now step aside. Team radio crackles, Lando behave, but Oscar's too busy catching that wave. Poor Lando thought he'd rule the track, but Oscar's out there, no looking back. Fans love the kid with the cheeky grin. Lando's like, when's my parade gonna begin? Still their mates, they laugh, they jest. McLaren's got two and they're both the best. Lando, what's the deal? Now your car's got wings, it's the real deal. Fastest on the grid in 2025. But Oscar's in your mirrors, stealing your vibe. Orlando, you're quick, but you're not alone. Oscar's got the keys to your McLaren throne. So here's to Lando, still chasing that crown, and Oscar the rookie who's shaking it down. Two fast mates in a papaya dream. McLaren's laughing, what a chaotic team. Oh, Lando, Oscar's got your number made. Max the Maverick!
He rolls to the grid, eye sharp as a blade. A storm in the cockpit, never afraid. Teammates tremble, they can't keep pace. Max takes the wheel, owns every race. From car to crown, he carved his way. A predator born to slay the day. The records fall, the doubters fade. A legend's forged, the price is paid.
Max Verstappen, king of the fight, burning the track in the dead of night. Outruns the pack, leaves them behind. Fastest heart with a mastermind. Not the quickest car, but he still shines. Bends the rules, rewrites the lines. Max Verstappen, hear the roar. The champ who always begs for more.
Are born, they tried their best, but Max just laughs, aces the test. He dances through corners, a devil's art, tears up the field, rips it apart. Red Bull's wings, they used to soar. Now it's Max who evens the score. The car's not prime, the rivals grin, but he still finds a way to win.
Max Verstappen, king of the fight, burning the track in the dead of night. Outruns the pack, leaves them behind. Fastest heart with a mastermind. Not the quickest car, but he still shines. Bends the rules, rewrites the lines. Max Verstappen, hear the roar. The champ who always begs for more. Monaco Street.
In the quiet lanes of Silverstone Town, folks are whispering about a boy falling down. Got a seat from his daddy, money's the king. Driving that Williams ain't like riding free. Tires spin, engines roar, but the podium's far. His wheels hit the gravel, now there's damage to the car. Got the world at his feet, yet he fumbles the lead. His dreams race away, but he's not in the speed. Daddy's money, daddy's ride, crashing dreams, nowhere to hide. Bought him a name that can't buy a skill. Lance keeps trying, but the track's all uphill. Now he's got his own team with a famous name. Aston Martin's the brand, but it's still the same shame. Every corner, every turn, the crashes unfold. Dreams wrapped in carbon fiber, truth left untold. Paddock folks shake their heads with a sigh as the green car spins and the hopes run dry. No matter the funds, it's a harsh game of pain. $1 million toys can't shelter the rain. Daddy's money, daddy's ride, crashing dreams, nowhere to hide. Bought him a name but can't buy a skill. Lance keeps trying, but the track's all uphill. Daddy's money, daddy's ride, crashing dreams, nowhere to hide. Bought him a name but can't buy a skill. Lance keeps trying, but the track's all uphill. Lance keeps trying, but the track's all uphill.
Yo, mic check, Spitfire on the bars. Saudi Grand Prix, racing under stars. Jeddah Corniche, tires scream and blaze. April 2025, let's set the stage. Lights out, chaos hits. Lights out, grids alive, engines roar. Verstappen's pole, PS3's at the door. Max cuts turn one, lines too tight. Stewards like slap 5 seconds, that ain't right. Safety cars out, gas leads to no direct. Lap one's a mess, crash in effect. Piastri holds P2, cool in the zone. Norris from P10 got a long way to roam. Lando's quali crash left him in the pack, but he's slicing through, blade on attack. Verstappen's fuming, penalties got him stressed. Jeddah's night's wild, this race is a test. Jeddah's night, sparks fly. Jeddah's night, tires burn bright. Piastri takes flight, Max in the fight. Start to the line, high speed race. Saudi Grand Prix, this is the place. Pit stops, battles pop. Lap 10 field spreads, battles get hot. Piastri's in the lead, McLaren calls shots. Max pits early, penalties serve slow. 5 seconds in the box, that's a low blow. Oscars in clean air, smooth like silk. Norris on hard, stint stretched to the hilt. Leclerc's P3, Ferrari holds tight. Shocked at the podium like, yo, that's light. Russell slipping, Merckx losing grip. George says underwhelmed, on a bad trip. Hamilton struggling, Ferrari's pace weak. Lewis mumbles, no positives, that's bleak. Sainz Albon scrap, points on the line. Hadger's in the mix, rookie doing fine. Jeddah's night, sparks fly. Jeddah's night, tires burn bright. Piastri takes flight, Max in the fight. Start to the line, high speed race. Saudi Grand Prix, this is the place. Crown champ, lap 42. Oscars leads 4.2. Verstappen's chasing, can't break through. Norris claws P4, passing Russell with ease. Lando's like, I'm back, quali's a disease. Antonelli's close, nearly hits the wall. Keeps it clean, Mercedes standing tall. Lap 46, Piastri locks the win. 3.8 ahead, grinning like a king. Checkered flag drops, McLaren's in the zone. Oscar takes the crown, titles is thrown. Max in P2, Leclerc holds P3. Norris P4 size, why is it me? Jack Brown's hype, McLaren runs the show. Fixed Lando's car, nearly stole the glow. Max stays calm, Red Bull's feeling sore. Horner whines, harsh penalty, heard it before. Piastri's champ leader, 10 points
Max up on the rest. Oscar's like, this title's mine, I'm best. Jetta's night, sparks fly. Jetta's night, tires burn bright. Piastri takes flight, Max in the fight. Start to the line, high speed race. Saudi Grand Prix, this is the place. Jetta's none, Piastri's got the crown. McLaren's on top, ain't slowing down. Crash to pass, wild F1 scene. Raps for the fans, keep the circuit clean. Might drop out, like Lando in Q3.
It's time to go. Feel the speed, let it flow. Racing hearts, watch them glow. Turn it up, start the show. NFR, feel the heat. Fast and fierce, never beat. Engines roar, can't stay off seats. Catch the thrill, it's so sweet. Stars afar, round the track like a shooting star. Feel the rush, NFR. Lap by lap, watch them spin. The victory's close, who will win? In our heads, the engine's din. NFR, let's begin. NFR, lights are green. Zooming fast, slick machine. Every twist, every scene. Catch the action on your screen. NFR, yeah. NFR, yeah. Drama high, stars afar. Round the track like a shooting star. Feel the rush, NFR. Lap by lap, watch them spin. Victory's close, who will win? In our heads, the engine's din. NFR, let's begin.
Liam Lawson rolled into Red Bull's gate. Kiwi kid with dreams so great. 2 races in, he hit the wall. Max Verstappen wrecked him, y'all. He thought he'd shine, but oh sweet son, Max chewed him up like a 2-day run. 2 races and a teardrop, that's all he got. 5 faster than a jackrabbit shot. Max destroyed another teammate. It's plain to see from Ricciardo to Lawson, he's a one-man spree. Daddy Rick tried with his big old grin, but Max spun him out, said I always win. Gasly and Albon, they took their turn, crashed and burned, oh how they yearned. Perez hung on till his tires were flat, now Williams gone, imagine that. 2 races and a teardrop, that's all he got. 5 faster than a jackrabbit shot. Max destroyed another teammate. It's plain to see from Ricciardo to Lawson, he's a one-man spree. Red Bull barn's a lonely place. If you ain't Max, you're out of the race. Liam packed his boots, said I'm done, I reckon. Max just smirked, next victim's beckoning. The pit crew sang, he's too dang fast. Every teammate's a thing of the past. Now Lawson's back with the junior squad, singing why'd I think I'd beat that god. Max's shadow looms so tall and wide. Another teammate's pride just died. From Daniel Pierre, I was Checo too. Liam learned what we all knew. 2 races and a teardrop, that's all he got. 5 faster than a jackrabbit shot. Max destroyed another teammate. It's plain to see from Ricciardo to Lawson, he's a one-man spree. So here's to Liam with a beer and a side, 2 races down and a wide-eyed try. Max keeps winning that Dutch tornado, Red Bull's second seat, a big oh no.
Well, gather round, folks, let me spin you a tale about a race car driver, George Russell by name. He's quick on the track, but don't get too excited, 'cause when it comes to greatness, well, he's not quite knighted. He's good, but not that great. Oh George, he's got the speed, but not the fake. Oh George, he looks like Woody from Toy Story, that's no lie. And when the race goes wrong, oh how that boy can cry. He's got the helmet, he's got the car, but when it comes to win, he's not quite up to par. He's got the look like Woody with a cowboy hat, but when he's in the pit, you'll see him shed a tear stack. Now don't get me wrong, he's got some skill, but when you're talking about the best, he's not in that mill. He'll race you hard, give you quite the fright, but in the end, he's more known for his tears at night. He's good, but not that great. Oh George, he's got the speed, but not the fate. Oh George, he looks like Woody from Toy Story, that's no lie. And when the race goes wrong, oh how that boy can cry. So here's to George, with his heart on his sleeve. In the world of Formula One, he's got a lot to achieve. He might not be the champ, but he sure is fun. So let's give a cheer for George, our Woody on the run. He's good, but not that great. Oh George, he's got the speed, but not the fate. Oh George, he looks like Woody from Toy Story, that's no lie. And when the race goes wrong, oh how that boy can cry. So here's to George, with his heart on his sleeve. In the world of Formula One, he's got a lot to achieve. He might not be the champ, but he sure is fun. So let's give a cheer for George, our Woody on the run. Orlando, mate, you had it rough. Car so slow, it was barely enough. Chugging along at the back of the pack. Fans yelling, mate, where's your pace at? Year after year, you'd smile through the pain, dreaming of glory, but stuck in the slow lane. Lando, what's the deal? Now your car's got wings, it's the real deal. Fastest on the grid in 2025, but Oscars in your mirrors, stealing your vibe. Oh, Lando, you're quick, but you're not alone. Oscar's got the keys to your McLaren throne. Now here comes 2025. McLaren's car is straight up alive. Lando's grinning, he's topping the charts, screaming, this beast's got a million parts. But wait a sec, who's that in the other seat? Some Aussie kid who's bringing the heat. Lando, what's the deal? Now your car's got wings, it's the real deal. Fastest on the grid in 2025, but Oscars in your mirrors, stealing your vibe. Oh, Lando, you're quick, but you're not alone. Oscar's got the keys to your McLaren throne. show. Passing Lando like, mate, let's go. Lando's like, I waited years for this ride. Oscar shrugs, cool story, now step aside. Team radio crackles, Lando behave, but Oscar's too busy catching that wave. Poor Lando thought he'd rule the track, but Oscar's out there, no looking back. Fans love the kid with the cheeky grin. Lando's like, when's my parade gonna begin? Still their mates, they laugh, they jest. McLaren's got two and they're both the best. Lando, what's the deal? Now your car's got wings, it's the real deal. Fastest on the grid in 2025, but Oscar's in your mirrors, stealing your vibe. Oh, Lando, you're quick, but you're not alone. Oscar's got the keys to your McLaren throne. So here's to Lando, still chasing that crown. And Oscar...
Good evening, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome back to NFR. Welcome back to League v League. Of course, it's Monday night. We're about ready to go. Just after 10 past 8. Of course, normal format for tonight. Just the short qualifying session, 18 minutes for everybody to get around and set their best time, followed by a 50% race around what we now know is Canada. Of course, this race was not confirmed on the calendar. This is the first of the races that will be decided by leagues. These are league hosted rounds. Only that league which is hosting the round knew prior where they would be racing. So of course that means these four guys driving for LSA tonight, they were probably determined much earlier on in the week. Probably been doing this track all week. A few laps here, a few laps there. Everybody else playing the guessing game as to where we would be tonight. So it should be advantage LSA. It's too early in the night to tell. I was gonna say no need to look at the tyre screen because nobody's messing about, but Venom is messing about. Venom, the only car out there choosing to go on a set of hards. See, for some of these drivers, for most of the drivers in the field, they wouldn't know where they were racing. So, might not be straight into ultimate pace. There might be a few exploratory laps here, especially if you haven't visited the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve in a while. This is one of the Fusion drivers. You can tell by their colourful livery, they've got purple in their livery. Hopefully they'll be getting purple on their timesheets. That is the league in. Let's have a look. Where are they? Where are they? Fusion. They're in the championship. Fusion currently P4 in the championship, just the 31 points. They'll be hoping for something better today. For QM8, they picked up a few points last week. It's still some way off. And LSA on 84, looking to make a strong return in the championship tonight. Of course, this is their hosted event. They should have the advantage. And then so far, the league to beat in Season 2, well, that goes to SKR, 142 points. Very large lead. But still very early on in the championship. We haven't reached the midway point. Skull currently the quickest man out on track. That's a 109.4. Then we have another 109.4. That's in P2. Is that Tempest? We'll just go with Tempest. That's one of the LSA drivers. Nice, up into P2. Of course, host event for that team. Shane in P3, that's his first run. Blade in P4. Saw Blade here in the comment section earlier. So he's listening in the background. I'm trying to figure out that name. That's Glitch. There we go. That's Glitch. Another LSA driver. Martin in the pits. This is Levy. Now, is it just me? I think it's just me. It was the angle I was looking at the livery. I wasn't quite sure, but that is a Fusion car. Where are the 4Q M8 drivers looking for the black and gold livery? Is this one now? There we go. 4Q M8. Black and gold livery. Of course, mirroring the very famous Lotus livery in the 80s. John Player Special, black and gold Lotus. Car even more famous for bringing first race victory to Ayrton Senna. Skull still the quickest. Few drivers now in the pits after those initial runs. Looks like Skull is actually doing multiple laps, so that is promising going later on into the session, because that means those initial laps he did would have been with some extra fuel, and these laps he's doing now, the tires are no longer at their premium. So we know that when he strips the fuel from the car and puts a new set of rubber on those wheels, he should be even quicker, and currently he's quickest. And as I say that, Skull, well, that is an unusual one. But Skull has picked up a 5 grid place penalty. We're not quite sure what that was for, but Skull has picked up a 5 grid place penalty. So regardless of where he qualifies, he will lose 5 places. Currently, he's on provisional pole. This is Spikes, one of the SKR drivers. What a successful race they had last week. All 4 cars in the points, something they've done twice in a row, I believe. Sometimes just that consistency, getting the 4 cars in the points each and every time. Remember, that's the biggest difference on a Monday night. The biggest difference with League v League. It's not about individual drivers, it's about the teams. 4 leagues come together on a Monday night. Each of them, 4 drivers come forward to represent. And then obviously 4 engineers in the lobby, 1 for each team. That's why you just have these 16 drivers. Visor has officially arrived in the chat, making his presence known, spamming the W's. At least that's a good thing. Last time he was spamming the L's. Skull still the quickest man with that initial lap, and we know he can go quicker. He should be able to go quicker. He had fuel in that car for multiple laps. W's all over the chat. W Visor, W Queen, W Chat, WNFR, well thank you. Skull, still the quickest. Then it's Gunner in P2. And we've got Tempest P3, Spikes P4. This is Shane. And, well, as I say the name, hasn't that happened multiple times on this channel? As I say the name, the car goes sideways. It's the force. The force of the commentator's curse. This is Blade. Driver we hope not to curse, because I'm pretty sure he's listening in the background. We saw him in the comment section earlier. He's about to start his second attempt. First attempt was a 109.6, was good enough for P7. Looking to get himself further up the field. Tempest has just lit up the middle sector, the second sector in purple. Current best a 109.4. Nothing in it between the top 3 drivers. Look at that, 109.4, 109.4, and you guessed it, 109.4. Is Tempest about to break that trio apart? He's going to go over the line and give us that answer. I think he did improve, but he stayed in the 109.4s. Absolutely insane timing. Top 3 drivers covered by 700ths of a second. Next best, and it feels bad to say it because he's only a further 10th back, 109.5. It's Spikes. Then we've got another 109.5. It's Shane. We've got a pair, a triple 109.6. Absolutely nothing in this field. In fact, the 109.6 is for P10. So currently, if you're 0.2 of a second off provisional pole, you're lucky to make the top 10. That's as close as you're gonna get. Don't think I've quite seen a top 10 that close. Of course, things can still change. But looking at that at the moment, P1, 109.4. P10, 109.6. 0.2 of a second. Covers 10 cars. Let me know in the comment section who's your pick for a driver at least. As for a team, seems like we have quite the favorite in the poll. We put up a poll obviously before the stream even got going. We put up a poll, who are you supporting tonight? Of course the 4 leagues are the answers: SKR, LSA, 4Q, M8 and Fusion. and SKR leads that poll by quite some margin, 72%. LSA 17, Fusion 11. And I'm not quite sure where the 4QM8 viewers watch their streams, but it certainly isn't on this channel. Speaking of 4QM8, this is Yaku, currently P13, 110.3. Then Trumpy 14, Leaded Sky 15, Venom is at the back of the field, 112.5, and we know he can go quicker than that. He doesn't belong at the back of the field. All top 8 drivers in the pits, 4 minutes remaining. Spamming in the chat, SKR or nothing. In the now famous green and black colors. Of course, next year the Sauber will drop that ridiculous livery. Team will become Audi. I think that car will look somewhat different. I think SKR's green and black livery will remain for quite some time. And it will give us a constant reminder of the Kick Sauber. Although I won't be missing that name. The Steak, I believe it's the Kick Steak Sauber F1 team. And I may be missing something in the middle there, because I'm pretty sure it's longer. Caution. In qualifying, that usually means something different than the race in IRL. Of course, yellow flag means you can't go quicker in that sector, you've got to back off. In the game it doesn't mean that. It's just a warning to the drivers that there is somebody out on track going pretty slowly and they're pretty close to you. Keep your eyes open. That's what the yellow flag is for. Take note. But in this case, it's just a bunch of cars driving slowly, trying to prep their tires for what will be one more run. Quickest driver still is Skull. I believe that was his initial lap. And remember, that was with a few extra laps of fuel in the tank. I expect a little bit extra on this lap. But if you're looking how close the field is, well, finding a 10th looks like quite the job. Gunner, P2, 0.02 of a second away from pole position. Then Tempest, 600ths away from pole position. I want to say tenths of a second, but there's no tenths of a second involved. It's all in the hundredths. Current best is still Skull. That is a SKR driver and the championship leaders in League v League. But remember, 5-place grid penalty for the man on provisional pole, which means Gunner at the moment, if the checkered flag were to fall, he would take that pole position away. And Skull goes even quicker, a 109.1. Not only did he find a little bit of time, he found a chunk of time. Told you he had a little bit something more. So that first lap was done with extra fuel. Now we go to Gunner. Was he sandbagging on his first run? I doubt it. 109.4. What more does he have? Got some support from Death Queen somewhere there in the middle of Visor's comments. I see, let's go SKR. We can do this. Then it's surrounded by green and black SKR. The comment section looks like St. Paddy's Day. Skull still quickest, Gunner still P2. Where is Gunner? Still 109.4. I don't think he's been able to improve. This is Tempest, next best in P3. Hundredths of pole, and he's not even on the front row. Let's see if he can change that. Skull retires from the session. He's had enough. And over the checkered flag, unable to improve, is Tempest. Looks like Skull will hold on to that best lap time, but we know he's not going to be able to hold on to that pole. I think we've almost reached the end of qualifying. Is there anybody still out on track? Let's have a look. This is Blade in P9. Does he stream off into the pits? Yes, he does. This is Glitch, currently in P10, 109.6. See the cars going straight on. Don't be alarmed, they haven't missed their braking point. They're just returning to the pits. And that's what, well, seems like that's what everyone has done. Half the field in the pits, the other half has crossed the checkered flag. And we are done with quali. So on your leaderboard you'll see Skull at the top of the times with no time remaining. Means he did take pole position. But we do know 5 grid place penalty will be placed upon that driver. So now we just wait for your results, and hopefully they do come up, because I think it was a week or two ago we just got no results. We went straight off into the formation lap. We just had a really lengthy black screen. Hope it's not happening again. It might be happening again. No visuals from the game for now. And there we go. It's done exactly what I thought it was going to do. It's jumped straight into the next screen. It has not given us the results. Fantastic. What we'll do is I'll read out those results once we get off to the formation lap. Then I'll have that order available to me again. What a qualifying session. Of course, there was a time there in qualifying, the majority of the time actually there in qualifying. The top 10 drivers covered by 0.2 of a second. What a feeling that must be. Going over the line, 0.2 off pole, you think that's pretty good. You look up at the screen, you see P10. It's a head scratcher. Is it a glitch? Is it EA being EA? No, no, no. It's just League v League. Everybody sends their best, and that's the result you get. Of course, quick look at the calendar. Tonight is round 4. That is again the LSA hosted round. We now know it's Canada. And then next week we go, who knows? Next week it's SKR's turn to host a round. Obviously that is next week, Monday. We'll find out where that track is going to be approximately 5 minutes prior to the race. And if you do hear any rumors, don't believe them, because all the rumors I heard about tonight's venue, they were incorrect. So somebody out there is putting out rumors falsely on purpose. Because one rumor was, well, it was pretty strong, and we're definitely not on that side of the world. So if you think you know where SKR will choose for a destination next week, don't be quite so sure. think one thing that could be even more interesting is when you have these league hosted rounds, let the maybe an idea to do in future seasons, let the league also decide the venue as well as the weather. I think that would be a really interesting scenario. I'm sure one of those leagues, if that was the rule in place, one of those leagues, just to be funny, would choose Monaco in the rain. Suppose that's why you don't let them pick the weather. But I think it could add even more spice. Obviously, if you're picking a circuit, picking the weather, the drivers can then test for that specific weather, get just the right setup. Could give the hosting league even more of an advantage. Of course, tonight that advantage sits with LSA. Next week, that advantage should sit with the championship leaders. So a bit of a break for all of the drivers to get their setups in. I believe we do have a 5-minute break. Obviously, half of that, or more than half of that, will be gone already. The drivers just preparing, making sure everything is in, every bit of strategy is correct. Of course, these drivers, a lot of them, competitors, racing SKR on Sunday, racing SAFRL on a Tuesday night, as well as in the other leagues, LSA, Fusion, 4QM8, all of these leagues. These drivers race against each other week in, week out. When it comes to League v League, there's a bit of an adjustment to make. You're no longer racing your teammate. You have to work with your teammate because the objective is get as many cars into the points as possible. It means nothing what order those cars may be in. Of course, there was a similar format used in a single-seater series that was done, I think it was in the 2000s. It's called A1, and it was, well, it was a very different championship. It was definitely a team sport and not an individual driver championship. Each team just had the one car, and each car represented a country. The World Cup of Motorsports, it was called. A1GP. Unfortunately, didn't get past its, I think it was 4th or 5th season. Raced at Kyalami, also raced at a Durban street track, purpose built for A1. In fact, I think they raced in Kyalami 3 times and they raced in Durban twice. So your order after that penalty has been applied: Gunner for LSA, that's the hosting league. They're going to be going from P1. Then you got Spikes. It's going to be the top representative for SKR, at least in the early stages of the race, starting on this front row in P2. Then we've got Tempest, another LSA driver in P3. Bit of a risky position for Spikes there in the middle. Those two LSA drivers can work together, of course, if they can match each other's pace. And we've got Butt in P4, Shane in P5. That's one of the Fusion drivers. Skull, he was the quickest man in qualifying, but unfortunately for him, pushed down the field to P6. We got Martin in P7, Lebby in P8, got Blade P9, Glitch P10, Matrix. A lot of computer names here. Glitch, Matrix, Virus. That's 10, 11, and 12. Then we've got Venom, Yaku, Trumpy, and Leaded Sky. Now we wait for the final runners at the rear of the field just to park up their cars so we can get going. Of course, this always feels much longer than it should. If you're sitting there in P1, if you're sitting on that front row waiting to get going, we wait for the red lights, 5 of them, and when they go off, we will go off. And there we go, good start by the SKR driver, that's Spikes, but even better start by Gunner. Goes into turn 1, nicely done. The last thing you want is any contact in the opening stages here in Canada. Everybody playing it safe in turn 1. Looks like everybody got through turn 1 cleanly. Gunner leads the way, Spikes in P2, then we got Butt in P3. So it's LSA from SKR from 4QM8. Then we've got a Fusion car in P4. All 4 leagues represented in the top 4. Skull down in P5. He's made up 1 position since his race start. 1 position in 1 lap. Keep that rate up and he'll be at the front in no time. Then we've got Tempest in P6. Lebby P7. Martin P8. Glitch P9. And Blade, well, he's picking up the final point. Back at the front, it's LSA versus SKR. Gunner versus Spikes. And down the main straight. Fastest lap. Of course, that's the first lap. That lap's going to come down somewhat, I promise you. Still Gunner from Spike, 7/10 of a second. Shane has made up a position. He's gone up into P3, putting one of those Fusion cars in P3. This would be some much needed points. Oh, how they would love a good result tonight with Fusion, currently 4th in the championship. Then SKR in P4. It's Skull. He's made up 2 positions. We said he made up a position in a lap. Well, now he's made up another. Got awfully close there. I think that was just the internet. I don't think it was a tap. Hopefully not. Of course, he knows he's got the pace. He saw he had the pace in qualifying, so he'll be a little bit frustrated by the penalty. He'll want to come through that field, and he'll want to come through the field as quickly as possible, but so important that on your way through the field, you don't get too excited, you don't get too ambitious. And maybe just waiting for that next DRS zone can be the difference between tears and champagne. Gunner's still the driver out front. Spikes still the man challenging in P2. Nothing has changed. 2/10 of a second. They are very close together. But will Spikes go for the attack? He's now got a teammate behind him because Skull has made up 3 positions in this race. We have a caution. I was going to say hopefully it doesn't trigger anything more than that, but we've lost a driver. We've lost Bert. And that has triggered a safety car on lap 3 of 35 at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Gives us a chance to have a look at some of these positions made. Positions, last 10-second penalty. Driving. Ooh. Then we've got a drive-through penalty. all sorts of penalties popping up on the screen. We had a 10-second followed by a drive-through. So all sorts of things happening. Of course, you want to come in to the pits under safety car just to roll the dice, to do something special in the race. But picking up a penalty on the way into the pits, well, that's just not going to help you at all, is it? That 10 seconds will sit with him until the next pit stop. Can serve it in his next pit stop, but it will turn what should be a 20-second experience into a 30-second experience, and that can hamper his race. He'll be hoping for a second safety car later on in the race. Or something we have also seen drivers do, if you have that 10-second penalty and you're right at the rear of the field under safety car, well, might be worth your while. Come into the pits, serve the penalty, catch the cue, and get going again. Some more cars now coming into the pits. This is Shane. We saw some of the cars at the rear of the field coming into the pits, maybe trying something different. They knew it was going to be pretty difficult to come through this field. Got to try something different, but I think that was the first of the top drivers, at least in the top of the field, that made a pit stop. Wonder if he had damage on that car, because that is a lengthy stop. Did he have a penalty? There we go, Shane finally gets going. What has happened there? Well, I don't have any I don't have any stats. There we go. I think I've been kicked from the lobby. There we go. I've been kicked from the lobby. We'll be back. Seems like something went very, very wrong with the lobby. Not quite sure what happened there, but I did see an invite pop up on my screen. So we're going to leave this one and join on the invite, and hopefully everything works out, because usually when I go from one lobby to the other a little too quickly, well, I get an error screen. So hopefully that's not the case. So there we go. We got kicked from the lobby. Don't think that's happened in a very long time, but we got kicked from the lobby. We're back. Thanks for staying with the stream. Gunner still leads the way. We haven't missed out too much. 0.5 of a second. Let's try bring your stats back up on screen so you can get a better idea of who's doing what. Seems like for a majority of the field, they're on the hard tyre. Out front, 5 of the top 6, all on the medium. Gunner, Spikes, Skull, your top 3, all on the medium tyre. Now this would be a fantastic result for Skull. Remember, he was the quickest driver in qualifying. Had a penalty placed upon his name. Had to start down in P6. Made up a few positions, got up to P3, had a fantastic start, but then had a bit of a gap to the top 2. The safety car has neutralized that gap. So now Skull, very much on the back of his teammate in P2. course, this is where things can get a little complicated. This is where League v League is different to everything else you see. Now Skull, he might have the pace, he might want to go chase Gunner. Now he has to get past Spikes, and how does he get past Spikes? He needs to get past him most effectively way possible, not losing time, and not having Spikes lose time either. Of course, I'm pretty sure all of these teams are in a voice chat, in their own Discord, or maybe on a PlayStation chat, whatever the case may be, but all of these teams are in communication. Each one of them have an engineer within the lobby. They are able to see all the information I'm showing you at the moment. Things like tires, their age, who's pitting when, who's doing what. They have access to all of this and they're able to share it with their respective teams. And it gives the drivers, it gives the teams a much better view of what's happening everywhere else, and of course what's happening with their teammates. Visor saying this track is a penalty eater, and well, we look up at the screen and confirmation, yes it is. Tempest picks up a 3-second penalty. I was just about to say, we now have, how many is that? I think that's 8 drivers of the 15 on penalties, and it's only lap 8. Of course we did lose Big Boot, triggered that safety car, the only one we've had so far. Spikes leads the way for SKR. And we got Gunner. We got the second SKR driver in P3. Man who took pole position and had it taken away from him. And now things starting to bunch up between the championship leaders in the top 4. Of course, SKR leads the championship from LSA in P2. And the way things are shaping up here in the top 4, we've got SKR, LSA, SKR, LSA. Of course, even if LSA have a fantastic race this evening, they need some of those SKR boys to fall out of the points. Of course, beating them is easier said than done. I think some of these guys, they've picked up a little bit of pace since Season 1. Gunner now picks up a 3-second penalty, and this will be crucial. Everybody in the field almost picking up penalties now. There's more drivers with penalties that don't have penalties. Gunner leads, but with a 3-second penalty. Spikes in P2, crucially the only driver there in that lead pack. No penalties next to his name, and if he's somehow able to keep it that way, it could swing this race his way at the end. Of course, Circuit Villeneuve, well known for its safety cars. We already have had one of those safety cars. If you find yourself as one of the drivers who somehow stayed out of that penalties column, and we have a late safety car, well, you're about to have an amazing race result. Drivers that are currently outside of that column, some fantastic racing side by side. SKR back into the lead of the race, at least for now. Skull P2, so it's an SKR 1-2. P1 in the championship, P1, P2 in the race. Then we've got LSA in P3. And is this a fusion car? Yes it is, a fusion car. That's Levy in P4. Another league looking for some serious points on the night. Need to get as many of those 4 cars into the points, and preferably as high up in the points as possible. perhaps the race can become easier when you have a teammate around you that you can work with. No individual title, so nothing at stake. You just want to bring those cars over the line 1, 2. The order they go over the line means nothing. So they can work together, they can do the what's known as the DRS slingshot. They constantly pass each other down DRS. Will make it very, very difficult for Tempest to get past because his DRS will be nullified by the car ahead. Sort of just bully that third car, and there's a mistake, a little bit of a mistake from Tempest. Was able to hold on to it, but I think that'll just lose him a little bit of momentum. He was right on the rear diffuser there of that car, and then suddenly 3 or 4 tenths. Very small mistake, but it's just a reminder. A mistake could be around any corner. I was about to say the drivers without penalties currently: Spikes, Glitch, Brian or Blade, then we've got Virus, Matrix, and that's it. 5 drivers out of 15 with no penalties. 2/3 of the field already in the penalties column, and we're not a third, and we've just reached 1/3 of the race distance. Skull leading the way. Half a second is the gap between him and his teammate. 2 SKR boys at the front. They would love to be able to shake off the LSA driver, but he's just staying with them lap after lap. And the more worrying thing for them is currently may not look that way in the timesheet. It may not look that way out on track, but it is advantage LSA. Tempest is able to match these 2 ahead of him while he's using the harder tyre. Those mediums will fall off. Those drivers will have to come into the pits. Tempest will be playing a very different game, going longer into the race, then finishing on the faster of the 2 compounds. And of course, if a safety car does come out after those medium runners have pit, well, then you get a free pit stop. Skull still out front from Spikes. Tempest still P3, close behind and challenging Shane. I'd like to have a better idea of what happened to him earlier on in the race. We saw him come into the pits and it was a lengthy stop. He has regained his P4, but he is some way off the top 3 for now. A lot of work to do. I think somebody just picked up a penalty and another driver has fallen. We said there were 5 without penalties. Well, now there's 4. Crucially, Spikes. Still no penalties next to his name. One SKR driver, no penalties. 1 LSA driver, no penalties. 1 Fusion and 1 4QM8. That's right, 1 of each league has a representative for the time being who is not in the penalties column. Things getting messy, things getting messy. Tempest goes past Spikes. Not sure what happened there. Spikes obviously going backwards, losing momentum. He was a lot closer to his teammate. Now he sits behind the LSA driver. Maybe a little bit of that teamwork, a little bit of that DRS slingshot fun going wrong. Not sure what happened, but when we got on the camera angle, things weren't looking good. And Spikes down to P3. but crucially, no penalties next to his name. Keep your eyes on the drivers without penalties because they are falling fast. Only 4 remain. This is one of them. This is Blade. He comes out of the hairpin. Such a crucial hairpin it is. So crucial to get your traction out of that corner. It's a long straight. Mess up the exit. Don't get near the top speeds you should be getting. That's a huge disadvantage to the lap. Of course, the Wall of Champions, not the corner it once was. That wall has been pushed back. And there is a lot of Tech Pro barrier these days. Of course, it got the name Wall of Champions. Because pretty much every champion in the lineup, I think it was every champion in the lineup, went on to hit that wall at some stage of the weekend. Even Michael Schumacher fell at the Wall of Champions. At the front, things have changed. Tempest. Now the man out front. Of course, one SKR driver, the other SKR driver, both into the pits. They are teammates. There shouldn't be a big risk of double stacking. The chances you're sharing a garage with the very same car you are racing, well, that would just be very, very unlucky. Tempest leads the way. Shane P2 now, but he's 3.4 seconds off the lead. That was the gap between him and the top 3 before the SKR drivers came into the pits, so he's not really making up ground for the time being, but he is holding pace. He's not falling back. That may change as he starts to come under pressure from this man here. Another penalty on the screen, this time for Levy. And have we lost another? Yes, we have. We have lost another non-penalty sitter. Can't believe I'm having so much fun commentating on the penalties column. Something different tonight. Just 3 drivers remain without a penalty. A little bit later on into the race, we'll actually go have a look what those penalties are. Lap 18 of 35. Tempest leads the way. Shane in P2. Remember, this is going to be an interesting race now for Tempest because he's on a different strategy to everyone else. He was in the top 3, 2 SKR drivers, Spikes and Skull. They were taking up those 2 positions and he was just staying with them throughout. All the while, he had the harder compound. The moment they came into the pits, took ownership of this race. He's got a 3.6 second lead. He will eventually have to come into the pits. It's all going to be about what those SKR drivers can do and where they are in the field. That's going to be important. Of course, Tempest is out front. He's got clean air. For the first time this race, he's not going to be racing anyone. He's not going to have cars surrounding him in the mirrors, cars in front of him. He's able now to just put in a few good, quick, consistent laps. And if those SKR drivers that pitted have to come through the field, and it takes a few corners or a few laps to get past an opponent, well, they might just find themselves in a situation where Tempest jumps them at the pit stops and then has the superior compound for the second stint of the race. Virtual safety car. It's not a full safety car. I almost said this can change everything, but it is just a virtual safety car, which means everybody should slow down to 8 Delta. They'll have a green time on the top right of their screen, and they need to keep their time within that green bar. If it goes into the red and the virtual safety car suddenly ends, well, it's going to be a penalty, and we've seen enough of those. Had it been a full safety car, it would have practically reset this race. Instead, we've had a virtual safety car, and sort of neutralizes things. A few interesting things do happen. Cars choose to pit. Well, says Visor, and indeed, virtual safety car. Keep your eyes on the track map to make sure it's not the glitch we've seen on this channel many times before. But I don't see any sign of a safety car out on track, so it was indeed just a virtual. And we're back underway, and for those drivers who are just coming out of the pits, well, they got the ideal pit stop. Of course, under normal conditions, you come into the pits, drivers are flying around the circuit, sometimes at speeds in excess of 300 kilometers an hour, while you sit stationary. That's why there's an advantage of pitting under a safety car and even a virtual safety car, because while you're sitting there stationary, well, everybody else, they're forced to go a lot slower than they'd usually be going. Now we go back to that timesheet, and now you need to look at the tire column. The tire column is what's just become interesting. Spikes, P5, Skull, P6. They're both on the hard tire, both 4 laps old. And they are the provisional leaders of this race. No, they're not, in fact. They would be 2 and 3 provisionally in this race. Tempest is the provisional leader of this race. He's in P3. Drivers in P1, 2 and 4. Well, they're going to have to pit. This has definitely flipped things. And if SKR want that 1-2 that they once held, well, they're going to have to dig real deep. So now, not only is Tempest in P3 with the car in between them, he also has that medium tire, and that should just give him that little bit of an advantage in the second half of the race. We've held off long enough. Let's go have a look at the penalties column. 3-second penalties going the way of Virus, Skull, as well as Trompy and Leaded Sky. Then 1 up 6 seconds, Venom on 6 seconds. We also have Gunner on 6 seconds, Shane on 6 seconds, and Blade on 6 seconds. Then yes, it continues to go up. We've got 9-second penalties for Yaku. We also have a 9-second penalty for Lebby and a 9-second penalty for Tempest. So while Tempest is looking very strong on the timing sheet, when you take those penalties into account, it's really difficult to tell you what that order actually is. So take the timing sheet on the left hand side of your screen with a grain of salt. Almost everybody in this field has a penalty, and they're varying penalties. Some are 3, some are 6, some are 9. You'd have to be a mathematician to work that out, and I'm definitely not that guy. So it's going to be something that the game will have to work out. We're literally going to have to wait till that end official screen so we can know the results of the race. What a messy one it's been. Lebby picks up a 3-second penalty, and I think he was already on 9. So that'll take him into the 12-second mark, into double figures in the penalty column. Now we're going to have to obsess over these penalties. So Tempest, 9-second penalty, Skull 3.2 seconds adrift, but he's only got 3 seconds worth of penalties, which would technically put him in P2. Spikes in P4 has no penalties, which would technically put him in P2. And there's no way I'm going to try work out the rest of the field. Further back, top of the Fusion drivers. Am I right in saying that? Yes, I am. Top of the Fusion drivers, Shane in P5. He's got 6 seconds worth of penalties next to his name, and this track has proved really difficult. Even for the LSA drivers, the drivers that would have known where we were racing tonight. Drivers who would have had more laps than any other league around this circuit prior to the race. Not even they have been able to escape the penalties column, and that is with some extra practice. For now, those 4 drivers still remain out of the penalties column. Let's see how many stand at the end of the race. It's something we tend to see in Canada. Another track that's famous for doing this is Imola. We've seen races in Imola where the entire field had penalties. Similar, a track at serious risk on the F1 calendar. Talks of cutting Imola from the F1 calendar to Italian Grand Prix seeming unjustified when there are now more than 7 venues on the waiting list hoping to get into F1. Of course, some of those countries have multiple venues proposed, as does South Africa. Of course, the one we all knew about was the possible return to Kyalami. Well, I can tell you, Kyalami's proposal is not yet finished and has not been submitted as of yet. Who has submitted their proposal? Well, it's the Cape Town Grand Prix. That would be a street circuit in Cape Town, based on the Formula E circuit that was hosted in Cape Town a few years ago. Sure, anyone who lived in the vicinity of Kyalami, well, they wouldn't be quite happy with that result. I live 30 minutes from Kyalami. Cape Town, well, that Grand Prix just got a lot more expensive. Glitch, rather Matrix, virtual safety car. We haven't got any full safety. We got one right in the beginning, but virtual safety car. I said we might get a very late safety car, and that would practically kill anybody in the timing sheet that had penalties next to their name. Fortunately, it's not a full safety car. It's just a virtual, which means things are temporarily neutralized. Everybody's needing to drive within that delta, and whatever you do, don't go into the red, not even for a little bit, because this virtual safety car doesn't give much warning when it's about to end. It just suddenly ends, and if you're on the wrong side of that delta, well, you're looking at a drive-through. So just the one driver in the double figures, that's Lebby, 12 seconds. And we've got another 2 drivers pretty close. Blade and Yaku, 9 seconds apiece. Yeah, virus. That's exactly what I think. Please, not a street circuit for South Africa. Of course, using Cape Town as a venue over Johannesburg. When you take everything else that happens outside of the race circuit, like accommodation and things like that, well, it's going to be a little bit cheaper in Johannesburg. Taking that Grand Prix to Cape Town. Not only don't I want to see the street circuit, I don't want to see how much more expensive it's going to be. And this is what I mean. This is what I mean. I said it on the last virtual safety car. Watch out for the glitch. I didn't look for it this time. There's the glitch. I said full safety car would be beneficial to anyone who didn't have penalties, but we only got a virtual. Well, that is not a virtual, folks. That's an Aston Martin at the front of the field. We are under full safety car conditions. Ignore the message at the top of the screen. This is a full safety car. This penalty screen, more crucial than ever. Spikes in P9, but no penalties. Look at that, Skull has picked up a drive-through penalty. We didn't see that till we brought up the penalty screen. But the leader of the race, 9 seconds. Virus P2, 3 seconds, then 9 seconds for Tempest. Skull on a drive-through penalty. Penalties haunted him in qualifying, and now they're coming back to haunt him in the race. Of course, Skull cannot serve this penalty under safety car. Not allowed to do that, not with the drive-through penalty. If he does come into the pits to serve that drive-through penalty, well, he's going to park in the garage and they're going to change his tyres. You can only do that drive-through penalty once the safety car has come to an end, and you've got 3 laps to do it. And with the field being this close together, unfortunately, things are not looking good for that particular SKR driver. Of course, if you fail to do the drive-through within 3 laps, you are abruptly disqualified from the race. I doubt that Skull will have much to say after the race. If you ask him how he feels about the penalties, he's probably going to give you a very Max Verstappen response. Of course, when Max Verstappen was asked about his penalty into turn 1, kept things very short in the interview. Said he was looking forward to Miami. He'd see you all next time. No emotions coming through from the 4-time world champion. The FIA have sort of closed the taps on how drivers express themselves, or how they're allowed to express themselves. Remember, Carlos Sainz picked up a €20,000 fine for going to the bathroom during a national anthem. Then at the very next Grand Prix, when he was questioned about that penalty, he made a joke that included a swear word, and he was fined a further €5,000. So if you want to know how to lose €25,000 without doing much wrong, that's how. Carlos Sainz. Speaking in Rand's terms, bathroom break, And then a joke about that bathroom break cost him R1 million. Not too bad. Motorsport. Well, it's an expensive game, isn't it? Busy restart and a crazy restart. Leaded sky, severe collision with blade, all sorts of cars flying around in the background, and safety car activated again. Cars going over the grass, cars in the barrier, carbon fiber all over, and I'd love to tell you more, but I simply do not know what happened there. Just insanity out on circuit, cars going over the circuit, over the grass, into the barriers. Carbon fiber from multiple cars. And maybe that has just brought this race right back into the hands of Spikes, who has somehow remained out of that penalties column. And Visor, well, I don't think I've ever sworn on the stream, so I'm not going to start now, but that's exactly what I was thinking. Suppose you can say the abbreviation WTF. TF works fine too. I think it would be a pretty interesting stream if I just swore right through the thing. It would be a stream of the difference. Safety car. We had a safety car at the start. That was for Butt, who retired very early on in the race. Then we had a virtual safety car a little bit later on in the race, a little bit over half distance. Then we got a safety car and we barely got going. We got thrown with another. A lot of those cars had damage because of those incidents, so all of those cars would have pit. So there's going to be a separation here in this string of cars, which means everybody's going to have to catch up to the field. Safety car will usually allow a maximum of 3 laps for everybody to get back in order. And as for Skull, well, this is a very complicated scenario. The only thing Skull could have done better in that scenario was practically follow the safety car into the pits and do his drive-through immediately. He chose to do one more lap and do his drive-through at a later stage. Safety car has come out immediately, which means he's going to have to sit behind the safety car for another 2 or 3 laps, unable to serve that drive-through. And when this safety car finally comes to an end, he's only going to have 2 laps in this race, possibly 3 laps in this race, and one of them he's going to be spending driving slowly down the pit lane. That is how quickly a race can get away from you. Shane once looked like a strong contender in this race. No longer in this race. 2 retirements, 14 from the 16 that started. And 4 of those drivers have miraculously stayed out of the penalties column. So Gunner leads the way, but lots of penalties next to his name. Spikes in P2, provisionally your race leader. It's not going to be that easy because this safety car has closed up everything. Most of these cars pitted under the previous safety car and their tires have done no real work. So everyone's going to have fresh tires for a 2-lap sprint at the end. That's right, that's lap 33 of 35, so I think the restart will be lap 34 of 35. And we're going to have a 2-lap sprint to the end of the race. Crucially, Spikes, P2, no penalties. Matrix, P3, no penalties. And Martin, P4, no penalties. If the order were to stay this way, those names I just read out would be your top 3. Your top 3 would be decided because they stayed out of the penalties column. So reminder to Skull, if you're listening in the background, remember you need to follow the safety car into the pits, or you need to serve it on the last lap of the race. Of course, if he doesn't serve it when he goes over that finish line, everything is going to go a shade of grey and he'll be disqualified. Has happened to me and it is quite abrupt. You go over the line and you're done. If things were to finish this way, 2 SKR drivers on the podium. Seems like things should stay that way because the next bunch of drivers, P5, 6, 7, 8, all penalties next to their name. Safety car comes to an end. And we're over the line for another restart in this race, and hopefully this time it's a much cleaner restart for everyone. At least everyone in the front is through the first sequence of corners cleanly. Gunner leads the way from Spikes. Matrix in P3. Martin in P4. Remember, the driver out front has a penalty. The next 3 do not. Yaku picks up a 3-second penalty. I think that was one of the drivers already in the penalties column. So for now it's Spikes, Matrix and Martin. Of course, Gunner number 1 on the timesheets, number 1 on the track. But once all penalties are applied, that's not going to mean too much. Spikes doesn't want to win it after penalties are applied. He wants to win it on the race circuit. So I see him getting really close to the back of the LSA driver. Does not want LSA to pick up 25 points tonight for a victory. But all he needs to do is keep things there. He will pick up the 25 points if he's able to maintain this position rather than fighting for the lead. He should be worried about the car behind him, because the car behind him is on equal footing. No penalties for Matrix. Don't think he needs to worry about Martin too much. He is a teammate. Don't think he's going to be fighting him. And I think Martin's going to be able to hold on to this P3 as well, because all of those cars behind him, even if they do overtake him in the next half of a lap, they all have penalties. Don't know how I'm ever going to do 100% races again, because by the time we get to the final lap, these headphones are hurting my head. Imagine a 100% distance race with these penalties. It'd be shocking to see what they'd be at the end. 35 of 35. And Spikes, he does get through on the racetrack. It's going to take the victory. Didn't need the penalties to do it. Gunner in P2 over the line, but he's going to lose that position. The new top 3, the podium, Spikes, Matrix and Martin. Your podium, SKR, 4QM8, SKR. Hopefully this time around we do get the results. We didn't get the results at the end of quali. And there we go. After a brief look at the podium, let's try and get through these results. Spikes started P2 on the grid, finished P1 on the racetrack. Fantastic job. Also took the fastest lap of the race. Means he takes the extra point. 26 on the night. Matrix 4QM8, they needed a good result. P4 in the championship, they got a good result. Matrix P2. Then Martin, fantastic drive, coming from the back of the field up to P3, showed the importance of staying out of the penalties column. Then we've got Glitch P4, another man who benefited from the penalties column. Virus P5, Gunner P6, he would have gone over the line in P2. Trompy P7, Venom P8, then Blade P9, and Tempest picking up the final point. So close. Skull P11 misses out on points. Then Yaku P12, Leaded Sky 13, Levy 14, and the two DNFs, Shaney, and the first to go, But. And there we go, folks. That was Season 2 of League v League Round 4. Of course, we came into this lobby earlier on not even knowing where we were going to race. We were waiting on the guys from LSA to make their announcement. Eventually they did, 5 minutes prior to the race beginning. We found out we would be racing at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Should have been advantage LSA all the way, because they knew where we were racing, but it was SKR that came out with the victory at the end. 4 drivers in the field stayed out of the penalties column. The rest fell to penalties. Those 4 drivers also happened to be the 4 drivers that made up the top 4. So staying out of the penalties did prove crucial. And it definitely proved crucial in Spikes' race as well. It's a fantastic race yet again in the League v League. At a 1 point in qualifying, we had 0.2 of a second covering the top 10, and that is not an exaggeration. So, fantastic qualifying, fantastic race. Things ended a bit messy there after that second safety car. There will be questions. I think the stewards are going to be a lot busier than usual. But I want to thank you all for being with the stream, for hitting the like button, and of course, if it's your first visit to this channel, remember to subscribe. I'll be back with you all tomorrow night for SAFRL. If you enjoyed tonight, you may see some of those names in SAFRL tomorrow night, so make sure to tune in. Same format as League v League. We start at 8 PM. We have a short qualifying session followed by a 50% race. That all starts tomorrow. I'll hope to see you then. Until then, goodbye.
It's time to go. Feel the speed. Let it.
Yo, mic check, Spitfire on the bars. Saudi Grand Prix, racing under stars. Jetta Corniche, tire scream and blaze. April 2025. Let's set the stage. Lights out, chaos hits. Lights out, grids alive, engines roar. Verstappen's pole, PS3's at the door. Max cuts turn 1, lines too tight. Stewards like slap 5 seconds, that ain't right. Safety cars out, gas leads to no direct. Lap 1's a mess, crash in effect. PS3 holds P2, cool in the zone. Norris from P10 got a long way to roam. Lando's quali crash left him in the pack, but he sliced
low blow. Oscars in clean air, smooth like silk. Norris on hard, stint stretched to the hilt. Leclerc's P3, Ferrari holds tight. Shocked at the podium like, yo, that's light. Russell slipping, Merckx losing grip. George says underwhelmed, on a bad trip. Hamilton struggling, Ferrari's pace weak. Lewis mumbles, no positives, that's bleak. Sainz Albon scrap, points on the line. Hadger's in the mix, rookie doing fine. Jeddah's night, sparks fly. Jeddah's night, tires burn bright. Piastri takes flight, Max in the fight. Start to the line, high-speed race. Saudi Grand Prix, this is the place. Crown champ, lap 42. Oscars leads 4.2. Verstappen's chasing, can't break through. Norris claws P4, passing Russell with ease. Lando's like, I'm back, Wally's a disease. Antonelli's close, nearly hits the wall. Keeps it clean, Mercedes standing tall. Lap 46, Piastri locks the win. 3.8 ahead, grinning like a king. Checkered flag drops, McLaren's in the zone. Oscar takes the crown, titles is thrown. Max in P2, Leclerc holds P3. Norris P4 size, why is it me? Jack Brown's hype, McLaren runs the show. Fixed Lando's car, nearly stole the glow. Max stays calm, Red Bull's feeling sore. Horner whines, harsh penalty, heard it before. Piastri's champ leader, 10 points up on the rest. Oscar's like, this title's mine, I'm best. Jeddah's night, sparks fly. Jeddah's night, tires burn bright. Piastri takes flight, Max in the fight. Start to the line, high-speed race. Saudi Grand Prix, this is the place. Jeddah's none, Piastri's got the crown. McLaren's on top, ain't slowing down. Crash to pass, wild F1 scene. Raps for the fans, keep the circuit clean. Might drop out, like Lando in Q3.